Hello out there, I'm Roland. And we are really lucky, you know that? We live in an era where everyone has access to the widest, most comprehensive source of information. We are able to maintain social connections in ways we couldn't even fathom in the past. And Bald Bull exists. It's easy to forget how blessed we are. Bald Bull is the best Punch-Out character. I will not be arguing this fact, but just in case you have any shred of doubt in you, I will be taking the next 10 to 15 minutes to preach the gospel. Let's go. Exhibit A. Look at this guy. Have you ever seen a man so perfect? But how did he get where he is today? The year was 1984. Everyone was on edge because this George Orwell guy said that the world was gonna suck by now, and no one could really tell if he was right or not. So to cut the tension, Nintendo decided to revolutionize the arcade scene. Again, you've maybe heard this story before. Nintendo had a surplus of arcade monitors in their warehouse, but they weren't moving arcade cabinets fast enough to warrant said surplus. So, instead of throwing away all the extras, they came up with a smart little idea to make a game that utilized 2 screens instead of 1. What would strangely become a recurring theme in their future. So, the task was set to Genyo Takeda to make a game for this crazy little idea. And he came up with the idea of a boxing game, where the bottom screen showed the action while the top screen was dedicated to scores and fighter portraits, simulating the overhanging banners of a real boxing match. It was actually quite genius in its simplicity. It generated public intrigue for its utilization of the 2 screens, and it was a tightly designed game to boot. But they knew if they wanted their new game to be worth it, so they needed some top-notch character design. You gotta remember, in those days, most of your enemies in video games looked like this. What is that, a tomato? But you can't just make them like normal human beings or something. If you're gonna make a game where all you're looking at is your opponent, you gotta make him memorable and interesting. So they brought on who else but the man himself, Shigeru Miyamoto, to design the characters. It really puts into perspective how good Miyamoto was at making distinct and marketable characters at a time in gaming where you had to deal with severe limitations of hardware. And not only did he create the most recognizable mascot in all of gaming, his designs for these Punch-Out fighters became the strongest part of the whole series, aside from the core gameplay. I don't know a single person who will hesitate to pick up any new Punch-Out game just to get some more Glass Joe action. That is when they finally choose to make a new Punch-Out game. But I digress. The point is, these characters are iconic. The Punch-Out games wouldn't have been a success without these boxers. But one was destined to outshine the rest in every possible way. Bald Bull. Bald Bull was the 3rd fighter of the original arcade releases circuit. Ranked at number 5 in the world, he was notable for his heavy punches and being the biggest beefcake you've seen thus far. Oh mama, that's a lot of pixels. But what most people remember about Bald Bull from this and all subsequent encounters with him is his signature move, the Bull Charge. This thing was designed to eat quarters. It was fast, kinda weird looking, and knocked you down instantly, filling the player with a sense of helplessness as this shiny-headed Turkish man mercilessly pummeled them, but at the same time giving them a sense of determination as they would pop another quarter in hopes that they would soon learn his weak points and take him down. From then he would go on to make us swoon once more in the NES rendition of Punch-Out, where he appeared for 2 fights, then in Super Punch-Out where he was looking sexier than ever. And then, those years between 1994 and 2009 were chaos. The world was in absolute shambles. Mario was a janitor. Little Mac was... and Nintendo was in the shitter. Then finally, balance was restored as Bald Bull graced us once again with his presence. And now in glorious 3D with full voice acting.
Oh! Get him, Cindy Long!
I gotta say, Bald Bull never looked better. And thus concludes the saga of an absolute god among boxers. For now. All joking aside, I do really like Bald Bull as a character. Probably more than I should. But that's neither here nor there. He is undeniably the best character of the bunch in my opinion. But hold on, you Don Flamenco fans. I can hear you typing away your inflammatory comments. Just you wait. I have some evidence that Bald Bull might be a bit more important than you think. In doing the research for this video, yes, I did extensive research into Bald Bull. It was delightful, thank you for asking. I realized something. While I don't think Punch-Out quite has a consistent mascot, I think there's some strong evidence that Bald Bull has some favoritism among fans and the developers, and he may have been considered for the face of the series for a time. Hear me out. One of the earliest pieces of Punch-Out publicity I could find is this poster advertising the original arcade title. You see the cabinet itself, of course, and then you have 3 fighters featured. Glass Joe, your introductory fighter, of course he's there, he's where you start. You see his face and you know you're playing the right game and you're not playing Mappy by accident again. You see Mr. Sandman, front and center, also an obvious choice, he's who you're working towards. You see him and you know you've mastered the game. But then there's one other fighter. Bald Bull. Why? Why him over every other character in the game? Also, side note, he's featured on the banners of both cabinets even though the right one is clearly fighting Glass Joe for some reason, and also the avatar character is blonde, I don't know. Then you look over at the spin-off of Punch-Out, Arm Wrestling, made by the same people, features 5 fighters, 4 brand new characters, and then the 5th one is just inexplicably Bald Bull in a mask. Why him? I mean, sure, they probably just didn't feel like designing a whole new character when they could just reuse one from Punch-Out, but why specifically Bald Bull? And it's not like they just reused his assets and tried to pass him off as a new character. You literally beat him by ripping off his mask and exposing him as Bald Bull. The announcer even makes a big deal out of it, as if the player is supposed to recognize him and get satisfaction over revealing him. Then we jump to the NES. As stated, he's one of the characters we fight twice, the only returning character to do so, I might add. And if we take a look at the original release of the game back in Japan, if you don't know, Punch-Out was originally released in Japan as a giveaway for a contest for the game Golf of all things. And who was the only fighter to be featured on the cartridge? You guessed it! Pizza Pasta. Weird choice. Moving on. In Super Punch-Out, Bald Bull again got top billing, being plastered on the front of the box and the cartridge, along with Sandman and Macho Man. But Bald Bull is front and center. He got himself a trading card along with the rest of the NES cast, and in Hasbro's line of trophy figurines for the game, we got Glass Joe, King Hippo, Great Tiger, Piston Honda, Super Macho Man, and who else? Bald Bull. A very tasteful rendering, I might add. That lineup completely glances over 4 fighters from the game. Excluding Tyson, there was no way Hasbro was going to shell out the money to make him. There's a popular ROM hack for Punch-Out for NES called Bald Bull's Punch-Out. He's one of the bosses and I Want to Be the Guy guiding. His name is dropped on an episode of Family Guy.
Bald Bull.
He's an undeniable icon of gaming throughout the years, even though no one identifies him as such. And why? Why is Bald Bull the best character? Why is his reach so much further than so many of the other boxers? And more importantly, why do so many people neglect him when they talk about their favorite Punch-Out character? Yeah, they talk about Glass Joe or King Hippo, but they pale in comparison to what Bald Bull has achieved. In all fairness though, let's talk about some of the other fighters that might be in competition with Bald Bull for best character, shall we? I would say when people think of their favorite Punch-Out characters and they have the gall to overlook Bald Bull, they usually think of Mr. Sandman, Super Macho Man, Piston Honda or Hondo, Soda Popinski, maybe Great Tiger, and even Disco Kid has a lot of fans, but probably the 2 that most people think of are Glass Joe and King Hippo, as mentioned before. And it's fair. Glass Joe is iconic, he's usually the first face you see, and he has the character quirk of being a horrible boxer. He's been in 3 major Punch-Out games and is even referenced in Super Punch-Out as Gabby J's trainer, and the one victory that Gabby J has is from when he beat him. Though Glass Joe apparently beat Nick Bruiser, but that's a whole other can of worms. I can respect Glass Joe fans. He's a cutie pie. I cannot respect King Hippo fans. Look at this guy. He's horrible. Yeah, he was kind of fixed to be the mascot of the series back in the day, getting a little figure alongside Little Mac and being featured in Captain N. Ew. But that tactic obviously failed. King Hippo just never looked right when lined up with the other fighters in either of the games he's been in.
He's only been in 2 games, what?
I don't think that King Hippo stood a chance at being the best character, and while Glass Joe's impact is respectable, I think it only nabs him a close second place. Now, in recent years, the people behind Punch-Out have started to really develop Little Mac. He has much more personality in Punch-Out Wii and became a really cool addition to the Smash Bros. Roster, leading him to be the poster child for the series of late. And that makes sense. He's the hero of the story. He's who you see the most throughout the game, other than maybe Doc Lewis, who I love, but he's kinda in a category of his own. Little Mac has really been stepping into his own recently. But does that mean he's anyone's favorite Punch-Out character? No. The point of view character isn't gonna be your favorite. They're supposed to be blank slates for you to project your own experience onto. You're supposed to like and respect Link, but your favorite character's Ganondorf or Zelda or Goma. He ain't even in that title. All this to say, while I really love what they've done with Little Mac recently, and yes, I think he's becoming a great icon for the series, I think Bald Bull is still the better character. Now that we got that settled, we can explore the why. Why did Bald Bull get all this special treatment? What makes him so special? Well, I certainly can't speak for arcade goers of the 80s, but I imagine he's where a lot of people were stuck on the game for a while. Players can breeze through Glass Joe and Piston Hurricane's Hurricane Rush, while difficult isn't too bad when you get a handle on it. But suddenly this giant comes on screen, charges at you, and knocks you down in one hit. That's devastating. The same goes, I'm sure, for Punch-Out on NES. His victory laugh in that game is iconic because so many people lost to him. In a nutshell, Bald Bull is a fighter designed to hike up the difficulty for the player. But it's only really one main puzzle you gotta solve. How to stop that damn bull charge. Yeah, you can usually dodge, but that's no fun. You wanna do to him what he did to you. Over and over and over again. And you can. The first kid who discovered that instant knockdown on Bald Bull must have thought they crossed over into Valhalla. That had to be better than sex. But not better than sex with Bald Bull. But I digress. Seeing this mammoth of a person hit the mat after one body blow is an amazing feeling. Equally amazing is going and bragging about it to your schoolyard chums, because they're all stuck on Von Kaiser. What losers, you're better than them now. So yeah, conquering the bull charge is probably the main thing that made Bald Bull stick out in players' minds. Other than, look at him. How can you not love the guy? But why did the developers seem to give him preferential treatment, like the advertising representation and the cameo in arm wrestling? Hard to say. It could be that as they were programming him for the first title, they grew an attachment. Maybe programming the bull charge was a really fun and rewarding moment in development where everyone started to really feel like they were working on something special. Maybe he was the source of several office jokes that made the process of building the game a fun experience in its own right, that those who worked on it look back on fondly. Hell, maybe they just thought he looked funny and got endeared to him. Who's to say? I don't even know if I can put it into words why I like him so much. I remember playing Punch-Out on the Wii as a kid and loving every fighter that came my way. They were so brilliantly animated and voiced and made the game so much fun. But Bald Bull just rose above the rest. He's absolutely ridiculous and I love him for it. And then, as I was discovering the rest of the series, he became this really nice home base in each of the games. I would be like, oh, I gotta play the arcade one now. I gotta see how Bald Bull handles in that one. That's the whole reason I made this video, is just to learn more about a character I really liked. There was a lot of silliness in this video, but at the end of it, I want to make clear that Bald Bull, while he is a wacky and silly character that does not need to be taken too seriously, is still a really cool and important piece of gaming history, as are the games he comes from. It's probably pure chance that I and many other people came to like this guy as the years went on, but whatever the reason, I'm glad it happened. I look forward to flipping through the trophies or stickers on the newest Smash Bros. Game to see if he made the cut. Spoiler alert, he usually does. I am so proud of him. And hey, I do love all the other fighters as well. Even you, King Hippo. You. But if I were to pick my favorite, it has to go to the one, the only, Bald Bull. I hope at the very least, after all this, you start to see, even for just a little, how much he means to me and so many other people.
Good job, son. Good job.
I'm just kidding. Mad Clown's where it's at! We got Gabby J, Mr. Sandman, Piston Hurricane, Disco Kid, Don Flamenco, Aaron Ryan, Bob Charlie, Hoy Carlo, Nassus Prince, Now I'm Wrestling, Texas Mac, Allison Ape 3, Kabuki, Frank Jr., Back to Punch Out, Piston Honda, Von Kaiser, Hekigagero, Mad Clown, Mask Muscle, Glass Joe, Kid Quick, Pizza Pasta, King Hippo, Bear Hugger, Dragon Chan, Donkey Kong, Great Tiger, Neck Bruiser, Rick Bruiser, Vodka Soda, Drunken Poppin', Super Macho Man, Doc Lewis, and Little Mac, Mike Tyson, and Mr. Dream. There. Now you can't say I didn't mention everybody. Hey, thank you so much for watching this whole thing. You know what the deal is as far as liking and commenting and subscribing or whatever that is. But honest to God, if you did like the video, I would really appreciate it if you let me know, because I don't know if I'm gonna make another one of these. What else is there to talk about? Seriously though, thank you so much for sitting through all of that. You're a real trooper. Go think about something that isn't Bald Bull. Heaven knows I need to. Okay, goodbye!